And thank you for watching KTN News. Welcome back to Africa Speaks. And now we want to go straight to issues to do with farming and also just beating food insecurity in Africa. How do we get to do this? How do we get to leverage on technology? What are some of the technologies being pronounced out there in order to be able to fight food insecurity in the continent? In studio with me is Joe Kariuki. He is a regenerative food specialist. Welcome on set, and let's talk about issues to do with technology and food insecurity. Now, Africa has just come from various events as a result of climate change. In Kenya, it's just the worst drought in over 4 decades. Now, how can we leverage on technology to be able to address food insecurity, especially in the continent?
Actually, thank you so much. Yeah, actually, it has been a problem, for many years. Like, I'll talk about me. I'm a farmer right now. I'm farming in Laikipia, and as you know, Laikipia is so dry. But I had to come up with ideas to combat that. And I came up with regenerative farming. Regenerative farming means you use what's in the farm, and that's what I've been doing. A lot of people, they don't want to get into new things. We can see the global warming, the problems we have, and all those kind of things. But I think it's important to learn new tech of regenerative farming. That's what I'm talking about. And it seems farmers in Kenya, especially, I'll talk about what I know. Farmers in Kenya, they don't want change. But it's about time we change, because the global warming is there, and it's there to stay, and it's for us to change the whole thing. So that's what I can talk about.
And now when you talk about farmers and the need for them to change regenerative agriculture, what exactly does this mean?
Regenerative agriculture, it means minimizing on the normal chemicals, chemical fertilizers, the normal pesticides, those kind of things. So that's what we're trying to do, and using the traditional way of farming, and that's what I'm trying to do. I have like 4,000 acres already, and I planted some beans last year in November, and with only 2 lanes, and it worked out for me, and I've already harvested. So it's working. So it's other people to copy, whatever everybody else is doing over the world, I think.
Yeah, and now when you talk about the technologies, there is artificial intelligence that is now big in the market. Now, how can farmers in Africa be able to harness these technology to be able to grow their yields and address food insecurity?
Oh, I think the government needs to do more work on that, because if you're talking about the local farmers, the normal local farmers, they cannot afford most of all these things, like to have drones and all these things. So it's people like us who have companies which can do all those kind of things to help these farmers to do all these kind of things. I know I've been meeting farmers countrywide so far, because we sell fertilizer as well, and I've been concentrating on selling inorganic fertilizer, which is based on soil, production on soil. But a lot of people did not believe it can work. So those are the things the government need to introduce, because you cannot be talking about the same thing, over 30 years. I was reading somewhere, we only have like 60 years to go, and the whole world will be desert. I was reading somewhere, and I could not believe, like in 60 years, we'll be all dying. It's either we save the soil or we die. Yeah.
So now when we talk about in terms of coming up with fertilizer that works best for the specific demographics that we are in, how then does the government make sure that this information gets to the farmer, gets to pretty much the rest of the continent, in making sure that food insecurity is something of the past?
Yeah, I can see the government is trying, especially, the president. We have been talking about farming and all that, but I think you need to do more work on that, especially having people on the ground, agriculture officers. We used to have them a long time ago, but these days it's very hard to find them. So those are the kind of people we need on the ground. They need to speed up, and talk to the farmers, hold meetings, talk to the farmers, tell them the right way of farming. It's, if I may tell you one thing right now, it's Feb. You're supposed to be planting. But if you look how sunny it is, we don't even know when it's going to rain. You know, December it was raining. Nobody expected it to rain. And that's how it is. So we need to change whatever we're doing. And we need to come up with new technology, which these farmers, they are not able to get it online. For me, it's easier for me. I can go online and read what's happening in the world. But these farmers, do they get that? So, you know, we need these agriculture officers to do more work and teach the farmers.
And when you talk about farming, especially in African continent, our form of farming has always been rain-fed agriculture. Sure. And for us to be able to be food secure moving forward due to the changes, climate change and all that, hence comes the conversation about irrigation. Just how important is irrigation for us to be able to be food secure across the continent, not just Kenya?
No, irrigation is so important. Irrigation is so important, but how many dams do we have? You know, where do we get the water? Who can afford it? If the middle farmers, there are so many, can they afford to drill a borehole? So we need to come out with regenerative farming. Regenerative farming, you don't need lots of water to do it. As I told you, what you need is type of fertilizer which have more moisture, which can keep more water. And that's what we need. So that's why I keep on promoting regenerative farming. Because even if we talk about irrigation every day, it's not going to work. It hasn't worked for all those years. Why now? So we need to come up with new technology and new ways of farming. And that's why we are talking about, and I'm the first person to be promoting regenerative farming in this country.
Now, when we talk about farming in Africa, there is importance of understanding the soil composition. They need to take technology into that to understand what suits what it is you want to plant best. In terms of extension officers from the government and the farmers just investing in that, are we there? And if not, what must the government and others pretty much do to make sure that this is done before farmers get into planting?
I think the extension officers, they're doing a great work, but they can do better. One thing I'll tell you about, you know, our farmers, they don't want to change any crops. You tell them to do crop rotation, they're not going to listen to you. And you know, if you don't do crop rotation, what will happen? You're killing the soil. So those are the things we need to talk to our farmers. If you talk about, when you're talking about North Rift and all those kind of regions, they have been growing maize for years and years. So I think we need to do something about it. We are not saying they should not grow, but we should come up with something so that we can do crop rotation. The thing is, they do one crop a year. It's not enough. It's not enough. Even it doesn't generate enough money. So if we come out with a way we can do 2 crops in a year through regenerative farming, I think we can be somewhere.
And then again, when we talk about, let's say, agriculture and sorting out issues to do with food insecurity in Africa, it then becomes not only just a Kenyan problem, but because we do business with different countries, therefore Kenya must be able to produce something that someone else needs. In terms of us being able to understand what works best for us, what works best for Uganda, are we there? And is the continent engaging on the matter of addressing food insecurity, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think they're doing that, but I don't think it's enough. They should do more, and they should come up with different technology, because we have been using the same routine, the same technology for more than 20 years, and it seems it's not working. So we need to come up with something. If you talk about Brazil, you talk about India, you know, they grow everything there. You know, you'll never hear like people are dying in India or Brazil. So we need to figure out what to do, and it's for our government, all Africans, as Africans, to see what can we do. We need to learn. We need to learn and accept, you know, and follow what other people are doing. If it's working well in Brazil, why does it not work here? You know, and I keep on talking about myself, you know, Laikipia is very dry, and nobody believed like anything can grow there. But when I started using, and all these I read through internet, how to do regenerative farming, I've harvested. So if we can teach these farmers, because they don't have access for this kind of information, I think we can be far. Yeah.
And now that you say that you are in a place that is arid and very dry, but
Yes.
your agriculture is blossoming there,
Sure.
how then do we cascade that information to farmers around you, to say the county government and even the national government, just to make sure that this information gets to everyone? Because at the end of the day,
Sure.
we all must eat, and therefore
That's
food
true.
security
That's
is
true.
the main agenda.
That's true. As I said, agriculture officers, you know, I'm talking about agriculture officers, not extension, because a lot of farmers understand them like agriculture officers. That's why I'm using that, you know. I think they need to put more effort on that and to have more field days. You know, myself, you know, I call farmers. Last year in November, I had more than 3,000 farmers. I invite them. And other companies who are doing the same thing. We don't want to be selling things to the farmers and not teaching them. It's business, I know, but still they should get value for their money. So we should do something about it. And I've been doing that. I'm leading on that, and I want any other company to do the same thing. And we teach the farmers the same thing with the agriculture officers. And the government needs to sponsor more, because most of the time I would say, whenever I talk to them, they'll be like, yeah, we don't have enough funds to do all these meetings, so maybe the government need to put aside something for these guys to do more field work.
And when you talk about agriculture and even just absorbing technology and even research, R&D, research and development in agriculture, there's always the question of affordability of this. And when a farmer, say a small-scale farmer, is not able to afford this, I mean, the difference in cost in terms of the government chipping in and other bigger companies just coming to assist, how should we have this conversation to make sure that the small-scale farmer gets that needed information, technology, so as to be able to provide food for the country and the region?
I think it's more training needed. You know, whenever I go, I do lots of meetings. I have a database of more than 4 million farmers. And the moment I talk to them, it's training. You know, the request for training throughout. You know, for me as a private company, it's not easy because I don't have enough funds to be doing all these kind of meetings. So, but the government is able to do these kind of meetings and inform the farmers on technology. And another thing, it's lack of funds. You know, a lot of farmers always complain, you know, they don't, even if they're getting subsidized, you know, like the fertilizer, like the seeds and all that, they need more than that. They need training, and they need maybe money from the SACCO or those kind of things. And another thing, maybe something I could talk about, maybe we need to work on societies, because these societies, they usually hold like thousands of farmers. So it's easy for you to coordinate and teach these farmers what to do and get them to make some money. And on top of that, we have been concentrating on one crop or two crops, you know. Maybe we need to come out of that box. There's companies around, you know, who are working in other income generative, you know, money, like planting castor seeds. You can make some money. Because if you go around the whole country, you'll see a farmer have like 5 acres, but they're farming only 2. The rest, they leave empty. So what we are trying to do is to encourage these farmers to use those 2 or 3 acres to do something else where they can generate a bit of money and they can do something about that. Yeah.
And also, the youth are being urged to get involved in matters of agriculture, because for a very long time agriculture has been left for say our parents, but now the youth are being encouraged to get into agriculture. How important is it for the youth to embrace these, not only just for in terms of business, but also as a means of making sure that humanity, life on this world is sustained?
I'll give you an example. I had a meeting I remember I had a meeting like 2 weeks ago in Machakos, around those areas. But we have a problem with the youth, because one thing, I remember I met one of the parents and I told him, why does your son go to work for someone else? Well, you have a farm. And the son told me, the moment I work for my dad, He never pays me anything.
Yeah.
So we have a problem as well. So this is something we need to work on. And he said, I would rather work for someone else so that I can get paid. But I think our parents need to look into that and give them a chance. Let them farm, let's enjoy, let them feel this is like any other kind of business. Because if I have a shop, I will send my son or my daughter to work there. But if I'm growing something, what will happen is I'll farm, and whatever I produce in that farm, I'll just sell it, and you'll never get anything out of it. So those are the kind of things we need to talk about it, and we need to help our youth to understand there's money to be made, into farming, which is so important. I'm doing farming myself, and I'm making a living out of that. So I keep on encouraging other youth, and most of them, they don't usually even they don't own the land. They don't have anything, but our parents, I'll say this, whether they like me or not, but they are the problems. We need to work on that. We need to get the youth to love farming, and it's a way of making a living. We don't want to be using the kids like, yeah, you come and farm because you're staying here in my place and go and sleep. So, we need to work on that. Because lots of youth, they don't want to farm. I keep on, like myself, I have my daughters, I'm trying to get them into farming, and we talk about how much they are getting and all those kind of things. So I'm trying to tell them, you can make money through farming. But if I ask you, like yourself, if you go home and try to farm, are you going to get something out of it?
Because it's a business, I'd say yes. But let's talk about changing the notion that farming is a dirty job.
Sure.
But that notwithstanding, it is what we must do for Africa, for the world, to be food secure. So then how do we change that notion that even after going through the education system, the only way to go is white collar? Blue collar farming is another opportunity. How do we change that mindset moving forward?
I think it's encouragement. I think it's encouragement, and to show them there's money to be made, and you can, and the good thing is you can use like agriculture, right now it's turning into tech. You can use like drones and all these kind of things to do so many things. So it's enjoyable for young people. We need to make it more enjoyable for these. Instead of using the traditional way of farming, we make it more, technology, like the new technology of farming. I think young people will be interested with that, because we are evolving. We cannot be telling the young people we're just gonna, do the old farming way. So the moment we involve them in the new technology of farming, I think they'll be interested, and it's another way of making money for them.
That is Joe Kariuki, regenerative farming specialist, talking about agriculture in Africa, in Kenya, and how that can be turned into the business, encouraging the young people to get on it, because it is not only for the sake of making money, but it is what we must do to be able to get to be food secure in the country, in the region. Remember that we are from the worst drought in 4 decades. This is because of the climate change that we continue to experience in the country. Good conversation, definitely technology and agriculture moving forward. My name is Dennis Aseto. Many thanks for keeping us company right here on KTN News. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Good afternoon.